Good morning, children. Today we will start the next topic of the chapter 10, that is the displacing indigenous people. So far we discussed about the history of North America, how the Europeans arrived in North America, how they displaced the native people of North America, how they were sent to the reservation, what was the Trail of 2 years, what constitutional amendment was done to give the rights to these native people, and in the last we studied that what is the present situation of the natives in America. Apart from that, we also read about the development of North America, especially the US, how the industrialization of US took place, and how the railways were developed in US, how the minerals used to allure the ordinary Europeans to come to US. So all these things we discussed in the previous classes. Now we will not discuss any more about the North America. Today we are going to start a new topic, and it is about another continent, that is Australia. So the literal meaning of Australia is the south, the southern continent. As we have discussed in the first chapter, Australopithecus means the southern man. The same way the Austral means south. So the continent which lies in the extreme south, that is called as the Australia. So we will discuss about the Australia. The native peoples came from New Guinea 40,000 years before. So before the arrival of the Europeans in the Australia, they were already the Aboriginal people. They were known as the Aboriginal people in the Australia, and these were the native people who arrived in Australia around 40,000 years ago. As the people in North America came from the Asian region through the Bering Strait, they entered into the North America, then they went to the South America. The same way, the native people in Australia also arrived through the sea routes, and they came from Asia. So these native people who were in Australia, they also arrived from the Asia. And how they arrived, that we will discuss. You can see that this is Asia. From here they moved to these islands, which are a chain of islands between the Australian continent and the Asian continent. And through this chain of islands, they went to the Papua New Guinea. So this is Papua New Guinea. That is an island group. And from here, they entered to the Australia. So they were confined mainly in the northern part of Australia. So these native people arrived in the northern part of Australia, and that was occupied by the native people. Then Torres Strait Islanders were a group of indigenous people living in the north of the continent. So this is Australian continent, and there are small group of islands. These are called as the Torres Strait. This is called as the Torres Strait. And on these islands the people live. They are not the people who came with the native people of Australia. As a result, they are considered a different kind of community. They came much later than the natives who arrived in the northern part of Australia through the Papua New Guinea island group. So this is the movement of the Australian natives, and they came around 37,000 to 40,000 years ago. And there are many linguistic group in the natives community, and these linguistic group used to speak different kind of languages. So numerous languages used to be spoken in the northern part of Australia. Together they make up 2.4% of the Australian population in 2005. As per the census of 2005, 2.4% out of the total population are the native people, including the Torres Islanders who are living on the Torres Island group. So that is very less as compared to the total population of Australia. So who are the other people? apart from these native people who are very less in number, that is only 2.4%, that we will discuss. Australia was the last continent which was discovered by the European, and it was a continent which was very clean continent. A very few number of people used to live in Australia. Until date, Australia is a sparsely populated continent. Sparsely populated means the density of population in Australia is very low. The land is more and the people are less. So Australia is sparsely populated, and even now most of the towns are along the coast where the British first arrived, because of the central region is arid area. So later on, let's go back to the previous slide. So this was the migration route of the native people of Australia. But later on, the Britishers also arrived, and they arrived in the southern part of Australia. You can see that most of the cities of Australia are located in the southern side. This is Perth, an important city of Australia, and this is Adelaide, Melbourne, and the capital Canberra, Sydney, Perth. So these are the important cities, and you can see that most of these cities are located in the southern side of Australia, because these cities were inhabited by the Europeans who arrived much later than the Australian native people, and they came from the European side, and they came mainly in the south. As a result, they inhabited themselves in the southern part of Australia. And why they settled in the southern part of Australia? There are certain other reasons. First of all, they set up their colonies in the coastal region. Why in the coastal region? Because they were much afraid of the native people. There may be the fierce tribe of native people who could kill them if they would be trapped in the middle of the continent. As a result, they used to prefer to live towards the sea or towards the ocean, from where they can escape, from where they can save their lives, because they can travel into the sea with their ship, and in this way they can be saved. So as a result, because of the security reason, they settled their colonies only in the coastal areas. The second reason may be that the area which is in the southern side of Australia, that is having a temperate kind of climate. It is having a cold kind of climate which is suitable according to the Europeans, because they were also from the cold region. And the northern region experiences a equatorial kind of climate. As a result, it remains very hot during the summer season. So that may be a reason why they prefer to live in the southern part of Australia. So maximum cities are near the coast. The central part of Australia, this part is the least inhabited. Why it is least inhabited? Because it is a desert area, and the land is not suitable for agriculture, because most of the land of Australia is used for farms and for rearing of sheep and other animals, and they provide wool, and that is an important part of Australian economy. So the desert region is not used by the people, and it is the least inhabited, and the population is very sparse in this area. So the highest density of the population only is found in the coastal areas of Australia. Now, who discovered the Australia? Captain Cook. James Cook discovered the Australia, and there were many people, some other European people also traveled before the James Cook, and these were the Dutch people who arrived there much before than the James Cook, but the credit of the discovery of the Australia is given to James Cook. Initial report from Captain Cook and his crew about encounters with the natives are enthusiastic about their friendliness. So whatever account was left by James Cook and his fellow Europeans, it suggested that when they met with the native people of Australia, they were impressed by the friendly nature of the Australian people. So the Australian people, like the people of America, who were the native people living there before the arrival of Europeans, they were also equally friendly with the Europeans. The same kind of people used to live in Australia, and they also welcomed the arrival of the Europeans. They were also not fierce. They did not attack on the European people. Rather, they were very friendly with these newcomers. So there was no danger for the European people when they entered the Australia. Later on, there was a twist in the tale. Cook was killed by the native, not in Australia but in Hawaii. So this is Australia, which was discovered by James Cook. So we are talking about Australia, but later on James Cook reached to the Hawaii island, and there he was murdered by the native people of the Hawaii. So that is far from the Australia. But this incident provoked the European people, provoked the Britishers, and they blamed that native peoples are very hostile against the Europeans. As a result, this was the incident which justified their subsequent killing of the native people in Australia also. मीन्स उन्होंने कहा कि हमारे जो कैप्टन को है नेटिव लोगों ने मारा है, और ये एक ऐसा मौका मिल गया यूरोपियंस को कि अब वो नेटिव्स को मार सकते थे, वो मारना पहले से ही चाहते थे. सो दिस गिव देम एन अपॉर्चुनिटी एंड they can justify that why they are killing the native people, and they started killing the native people in Australia. As a result, their number reduced a lot after this incident. So it was used by the colonizers to justify subsequent acts of violence towards their people, towards other people. In the 19th and 20th century, nearly 90% of them died due to the exposure to the germs, loss of their lands and resources, and battle against the European settlers. So the number of natives which used to be very high earlier before the arrival of Europeans, now their number reduced dramatically, and the regions were only three. The first reason was that the Australia was a clean continent. It was untouched from the development which was there in Europe. And because of the development in Europe, there were many deadly diseases, and these deadly diseases were brought by the European in the Australian continent. Since the Australian people were not having the immunity against those diseases, as a result, they were infected from those diseases, and later on they died because of those diseases. These may be the smallpox, plague, etc. So they died because of the disease which was brought here by the European people. That is one reason. And this also happened not only in Australia, this also happened in America, this also happened in Africa, which was occupied by the European colonizers. Second was, they lost their land, because the land which they occupied earlier from the times immemorial, now that land was snatched by the European people, and they set up the big farms over there. They started rearing up of the ships. They started cultivation of wheat. So wool and wheat were the major production of Australia, and it was started by the European people. So they snatched the land which was occupied by the native people, and they became the landless. So due to the lack of resources, now it was not suitable condition for the natives, and it was very difficult for them to survive in such a condition. As a result, they died. The third reason, that they also confronted with the Europeans, because when Europeans started acting very brutally with these people, so they also resisted. As a result, they were killed by the European people, and a large number of Australians were killed by the European people who arrived there. Further, we will read about encounter with the Europeans. You can see that this image suggests that how the Europeans arrived in the continent of Australia. So they came mainly through the sea route. From where these new settlers came, they came from the Britain. From where? They came from the Britain. Now, who were these people who settled over there? The discovery was done by the James Cook, and later on there was a policy of the Britain to deport the people from Britain to Australia, and there were some reasons why these people were deported to the Australia. You can see that this is the flag Union Jack, which is the flag of Britain, and these are the British people. The early settlers were convicts deported from England on the condition that they will not return again. So this was the period of industrialization in England that we discussed in the last chapter. Industrialization led to the urbanization, and because of the urbanization, the urban areas were expanding, And due to the expansion of urban areas, crimes were also increasing in these cities. And due to the increase in the crime, now police became more active in these cities, and they found a solution that where such a large number of criminals should be sent. And they found a place that was the Australia. Since Australia used to be away from England, so once if they were deported, if the criminals were captured from Britain, like London and some other towns of Britain, if they are captured from there and if they are deported to Australia, then it would become very difficult for these people to return back to England. As a result, the criminals were arrested throughout the Britain, and they all were deported through the ship to the Australia. And on the condition they were sent to Australia that they would not return again to the Britain, and they would not spoil the environment of the Britain, the atmosphere of the Britain. And there were two conditions before these people, and they also became readily agree to come to Australia, because either they had to spend their rest of the life in this region, or they could live a free life in a new continent that was the Australia. As a result, these people also opted that they should be sent to the new continent, that is Australia, so that they can live a life of a free man. So these were the convicts which were deported to Australia. And you can imagine that these people were already criminals, so they were already very brutal. As a result, they also showed their behavior in Australia, and they started killing the native people. Vast sheep farms and mining stations were established over a long period and with much labor, followed by vineyard and the wheat farming. So these people snatched the land from the native people. Since Australia was a very vast continent and the population was very sparse, now they had an opportunity to become rich. They cleared the land, they set up big estates where they started the farming of vineyard and wheat, and they also started production of the wool, and the forest was cleared, and in this way the natives were also deprived of their land. For setting up of the farms, they ejected native from the land and took over for cultivation without remorse. So they were not having any remorse. How you can expect a remorse from a criminal? Because these people were the deported criminals of the Britain. As a result, they did not feel any remorse. They did not feel guilty when they were taking land from the native people of Australia. Natives were employed in the farms. They were enslaved and they were asked to do work for these newcomers in their farm. But their population was very less, so the farm activities could not be accomplished by the native people. As a result, they required more labor. And for that labor, they turned to China. China is little closer to the Australia than the Europe. As a result, and Africa also. Africa is far away from Australia, but China is comparatively closer to Australia, and they started bringing Chinese as the laborer, because China was also a colony of Britain. So the people from China were sent as the laborer to Australia, and they used to provide the cheap labor in the Australian continent. But Australian government followed non-white policy to keep away people from South Asia or Southeast Asia. Now native people also came from the South Asia. More people were coming as a laborer to the Australia from South Asia and Southeast Asia, including the Chinese also. Now Australians who were there, and maximum Australians were European people, they were the white people. As a result, they started feeling that if the continuous inflow of the people from the Asian region will continue, then their numbers will remain in minority as compared to the Asian people. So due to the fear of the minority, that they would become minority in the Australian continent, and later on the situation may change. These Asian people may join together and they could throw the white people out of the Australia. As a result, they followed a policy. That policy is called as the non-white policy, and they banned further arrival of the newcomers from the Asian region, and they allowed only the white people to settle in Australia. So that policy was called as the non-white policy. Now let's talk about the capital of Australia. The capital of Australia is Canberra. Earlier, a name was suggested for the capital of Australia, and its name was wool, wheat, gold, because Australia mainly produce wool and wheat and gold also. So the suggested name for the capital was wool, wheat, gold. But later on, this was not adopted as the name for the capital of Australia. Rather, they named it as the Canberra. Canberra or Canberra is a local word which was used by the native people of Australia, and the meaning of this word Canberra is the meeting place. So this word has been taken from the native people of Australia. It means after some time, the native people in Australia were also given a kind of right, a kind of respect. As a result, they adopted the name Canberra from the native language. So we will discuss further about that. So here we will discuss about the wind of change. How the life was changed for the native people in Australia with the subsequent years. So here you can see an image of a person, and his name is W.E.H. Stanner. W.E.H. Stanner. So in 1968, anthropologist W.E.H. Stanner delivered a lecture, and its name was Great Australian Silence. The silence of the historians about the origin, about the aborigines. So W.E.H. Stanner was the first person who raised voice for the native people of Australia. And he criticized the historians that they are thinking from the European viewpoint. They have wrote the history of the European only, so they started writing the history of Australia from the time when European arrived in Australia. So in this way, they overlooked the history of the native people. So he delivered a lecture upon the native people, and it was named as the Great Australian Silence. It talks about the silence of the historians about the native people. There was an attempt to study the natives as a community with a distinct culture. So he was an anthropologist. And what is the work of anthropologist? To study an ethnic group along with its culture. So he started studying the native people with a distinct culture. Similarly, some other people also started their study upon the native people. As a result, the native people started coming into the limelight, and the world came to know about the native people. Henry Reynolds also wrote a book, Why Weren't We Told? And he condemned the practice of writing Australian history as it had begun with the Captain Cook's discovery. Because the history earlier was written from the European viewpoint, so the history began from the arrival of the Captain Cook in Australia. So he condemned to historians about writing the history only after the arrival of European. Earlier there used to be native people, so Henry Reynolds questioned that why the history was not written from the time when the natives arrived in Australia. By 1974, multiculturalism was adopted as an official policy in Australia, which gave equal respect to the natives and all cultures. Earlier only the culture of European was respected, it was given more privileges, but now multicultural policy became the policy of Australia. Means along with the culture of European, the culture of native was also recognized, and it was the time when the human rights kind of things were heard in the UNO and at the international level. So under their pressure, this policy was changed by the Australian government. Australia had not made treaties with the natives when their land was taken up by the Europeans. that I told you that the newcomer who came from the Britain, they set up their huge farms and they snatched the land of the native people. They utilized the land which was lying vacant in Australia. Without asking anybody, they used it freely. But think about the land of Australia. Natives were already there. They inhabited from 40,000 years ago. But they did not feel any need to ask the native people, and they started using their land. So why they started using their land? Because the government of Australia termed the land of Australia as the terra nullius. Terra nullius means the land belongs to nobody. That Australian land is a land which belongs to nobody. In this way, they did not recognize the rights of the native people on the land of Australia. And by following this policy, now they were free to use the land of Australia as and where and as and when they were required to use the land of Australia. Children of mixed blood, native Europeans means mother or father, like mother used to be the native and father used to be European. So this kind of population was called as the mixed population, and in case of the mixed population, the children were given to the white people. So in this way, the right of the native people was also not recognized. The parents who were the natives, they were not given their children. So agitation against these issues led to two major important decisions. So the people started raising voice against this kind of discriminatory policy of the Australian government, because at that time the people were talking about the human rights in the UN and at the international level, and under their pressure these issues were also raised, and two decisions were made by the Australian government. The natives had a strong historic bonds with the land, and this should be respected. The first thing which they recognized, the natives used to live there much before the arrival of the Europeans. So the land of Australia belongs to the native people, and their rights over the land of Australia must be respected. Second, a national sorry day as apology for the children lost from the 1820s to the 1970s. So this is about the mixed blood children, the children who were snatched from the native parents. So a lot of discrimination was felt by the native people, and for that the Australian government celebrated a day that is called as the National Sorry Day. And here you can see that this is Judith Wright. She is one of the writers who wrote about the native people, and she wrote a very moving poem about the life of the native people. As a result, there was sympathy started rising up in the at the international level as well as in the Australian continent also. So Judith Wright, an Australian writer, was champion of the rights of the Australian Aborigines, that is the native people of Australia. She wrote many moving poems about the laws created by keeping the white people and the natives apart. So this kind of writer raised the voice for the native people. As a result, in the late 19th century, the native people came in the limelight, and Australian government also started a tolerant policy for the native people as well. Thank you.